math, these patterns reveal themselves in the most incredible form. It's quite beautiful. It's like a painting, I think. Only imaginators with colors we cannot see.
Mathematicians won the war. Mathematicians broke the Japanese codes and built the A-bomb.
Who among you will be the next Morse? The next Einstein?
I also put an advanced Fourier system on the main hallway chalkboard. Now, the person to do so will not only be in my good graces, but also go on to fame and fortune, have their accomplishment recorded and their name printed. The auspicious MIT Tech.
Cosmologists worship them.
One single unifying equation that explains everything that happens.
What's the equation?
That is the question.
Singularity systems.
Keep going, develop the mathematics.
Magnolia doesn't count on this large Can't be done, I'm telling you. Especially not by you. Stop!
Your theorem is wrong.
I have 2 years to live.
You will never understand the importance of what I am creating here.
It can. Sometimes it's the very people who no one imagines anything of who do the things that no one can imagine.
So what next?
A single equation with time having to
But there should be no boundary to human endeavor. We are all different. While there is life, there is hope.
We are merely explorers of infinity in the pursuit of absolute perfection. We do not invent these formulae, they already exist.
I like her numbers. Let's get the girl to check the numbers. I mean, she says they're good. I'm ready to...
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is the debut of High Tech Pilot program. I'm your host, Li Yang. This is a show to talk about Chinese Communist Party's high-tech sector and to review some dirty secret behind the scenes. So we are going to start with a series of programs that expose HUAWEI, a well-known Chinese business, or I should say it's actually a People's Liberty Army, PLA's entity, which is fully controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. So we'll get into that later, but first, let me introduce my guest today. First, Maple. How are you, Maple?
Hi, Leon. I'm very good, thank you. I'm very happy to be here today. This is episode 1 of High Tech Pilot, and I'm very happy, again to be here with all of you guys from all of the world to see what's HUAWEI and what is behind. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's great. Good to have you here. The second guest, Lakeman, please.
Hi, good morning, Neil. Good morning, it's Maple, Kiel, and Thumb Sister. Thanks for having me to join this show today. I'm very, very excited and look forward to share my points and views about how CCP and its national-owned company, or even military-owned companies, organization, how they steal or the bribes the U.S. and other Western countries, IP or technology to grow its own profit and economy. Yeah, what they're doing so many years, still not fully recognized by Western countries. Yeah, we want to reveal how they did case by case. And now, so I hope we can wake up more Western people how evil the CCP is. And they can stand, with us and taking down the CCP. And we'll build the bright future together. Thank you. Back to you, Leo.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Right on. Welcome. And my third guest, QCCP.
Hi, everyone. It's my honor to be invited for this show. Basically, I think as we the native language for us is Chinese, but we would like to use the Getter platform to speak in English, so it's convenient for the Westerners to understand. Because we have a better understanding of what's the true color of HUAWEI. Now it's time to show the Westerners in their native language, in English, what's the true color. So hope we can give you enjoy your time with us for this show. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. By the way, I really like your name, QCCP. So, okay, okay, guys. Special thanks to our OBS support, Farm Sister. Thank you, Farm Sister. Okay, let's get it started. Farm Sister, could you put on the first PPT? And Maple, I'll hand over to you.
Okay, great, Leon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Farm Sister. So today I'm gonna explain this PPT. We are talking about the HUAWEI and the lawsuit with the CISCO. Everyone knows HUAWEI now globally, not only China, because during the past 10, even 20 years that the HUAWEI developed their business out of China, especially the recent 10 years, HUAWEI's handset with the Android system, the brand of Honor and the HUAWEI brand. So approach almost everyone in the world, even in US. So, but what is the HUAWEI real background and the current situation? Because we all know that during the past 3 years, things happen between HUAWEI and the U.S. government. Actually, it's under the background of the China and U.S. So let's see what is the annual report, the annual report of 2021. I'm very interested in one part. Let me read this part. It's very interesting. So over the part, it's part of the message from the rotating chairman of HUAWEI. And over the past 3 years, an extremely challenging business environment, not to mention substantial non-market factors. I think HUAWEI mentioned is like a political, everything is political, and have complicated our business operators. And we all know this challenging business environment is a sanction, right? Sanction from the US government. And yet, when the storm came, we choose to run headfirst into the rain. Oh, wow, it's so sensational. So we have done everything in our capacity to ensure business continuity with no interruptions in delivery or service. We have been working day and night to grow the harvest and secured our survival. The pouring rain hasn't extinguished our faith in what the future holds. So quite the opposite, we are more dedicated and innovative than ever. So when we read this part, we feel very like, it's HUAWEI is a good friend, right? Very emotional expression. And it's like a poem, so beautiful.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
Let's review what is a sanction on Earth. What is that, right? So let's see the U.S. sanctions on HUAWEI from 2019 to 2021. Well, we all remember, the May of 2019, the U.S. government, actually it's a Commerce Department of the U.S., put HUAWEI on entity list, involved 70 companies. So this, we all know that this entity list is what? So this is the EAR contain a list of the names of certain like foreign persons, like individual or companies that are subject to special license requirement for the export, re-export, or whatever the trade business for those U.S. companies. So that means and the relevant companies cannot buy anything, from the U.S. companies. So this is a big thing, very big, right? A very big shock.
Yeah, it's really big.
HUAWEI and the whole world, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mabel. Before you go through the details, would you like to give some background to the audience, maybe who know just HUAWEI's big name right now, but audience may not all know where the exactly grows from. So would you like to give some background intros about HUAWEI, this company itself?
You mean the HUAWEI background?
Yeah, so maybe I can just give you a few words. I do, actually, I knew this company very well. I'll just give you a few words, very short, summarize. People can know this company, right?
Sure.
Before, we
Sure, I thought, yeah. So HUAWEI is, that's a good question and remark, thank you. And we know that HUAWEI is a telecom company and giant, #1, actually, currently is the #1 supplier of telecom products to the carriers. And then 2 years ago, HUAWEI was also the second biggest supplier of the seller of the handset, the mobile phone, second to Samsung by the delivery, the quantity of the delivery, And then HUAWEI also do business with all the industrial clients like government, like manufacturers and electricity industry, or you can imagine almost all of the industries involved. So HUAWEI's business actually is everywhere. You can feel directly or indirectly. Huawei is there with our lives every day, you know. And but as Lakeman said that because Huawei, you know, show our beautiful image for many years, but now we need to see what is real Huawei. And looks like Huawei is really very strong and big, right? It's a huge company.
You know what? You know, actually, Huawei is, as we know, is kind of just over about 30 years history. You know, it's a relatively young company still, right? The former CEO, like Ren Zhengfei, started that company in 1987, after he was discharged from the People's Liberation Armies in China. You know, that's why his background helped him to get the project or the contract, from you know, either from military side or from the, you know, just the business commercial side. This is one of the main reasons why Huawei is reviewed as a fact branch of the Chinese government part. Actually, as we know, Huawei is real PLA company because Ren Zhengfei personally is belong to the PLA, or the, you know, Security Department of China, one of the government of China. Is that right?
Yeah, according to my knowledge, yes, because when this Mr. Ren Zhengfei created Huawei on 1987, at that moment he was just transited from the army soldier to the like a business business
still have a small business in Shenzhen.
But before that, you know, Ren Zhengfei, like he was like rewarded with the best improvement of technology in the army, you know. So he's like the best achievement in the army in certain, like some year, you know, several years before. So he is the key guy from the army before, and later on he created Huawei, and then Huawei just grew, you know, year by year to break all his the record, right? So it's a legend, and I can continue with these sanctions. You know, let's come back to these sanctions, because with this first sanction on May of 2019, Huawei was on the entity list. And then 1 year later, the US government forbid Huawei to be supplied with the chips, you know, from all the US company. And three months later, the US Commerce Department put 38 Huawei branches on the entity list, you know, 38 more, and also expand their actions of sanctions, including the chips made by the foreign firms that have been developed or produced with the US software or technology. Oh my God, this is crazy, right? So it's that means you cannot buy anything, technically or legally, right? According to these sanctions, because everything is related to US.
What that means, if any companies enter that entity list, which means that company is not able to do any business with any other US-owned company, or the, you know, or the companies who you know, work with the US company or have any tie with the US company. Is that correct?
Yeah, any company who use the software or technology that originated from the US company. Okay, you cannot buy it. You cannot, you know, use that.
You know, so you can imagine in this world, which high technology areas not using any US-made either software or hardware. You know.
Yeah.
But one question here. I think for the last one on March 2021. This is a really important sanction for Huawei. But now The problem is since what you are saying here is just the U.S. company are not allowed to supply 5G chips to Huawei. This means that direct to Huawei, or let's say another Chinese company, or let's say a company in Cuba, they can buy from a U.S. company, then resell to Huawei. Is this allowed?
This one, first they forbid the 5G chips to Huawei, but then second, actually, during the past years, the biggest buyer of the 5G chips from those U.S. companies are Huawei. Only Huawei, and also second is the other mobile handset companies like ZTE or Xiaomi, how to say the Xiaomi, Mio, right?
Yeah, MI.
So MI, yeah. MI, right? So these companies are in the list. I don't think you can put another unknown new company, to buy anything from US. It's if they trace your record or the registration, find it's about China or from CCP, and they will forbid 100%, they will forbid, right?
Yeah, I think regarding the chaos question, at the very beginning, the U.S. government even not recognize that kind of happen because there are direct sanctions Huawei, but not limited to any other companies. If those companies not enter that as entity list, right? However, later on, they are warm up by the kind of a trick mouse that is played by Huawei. As you know, guys remember, many years ago, Huawei doing business with Iran. That is because Iran is sectioned by the U.S. It's not allowed to doing any business with them. But Huawei set up a company in Hong Kong, and indirectly still doing business with Iran company. And later on, U.S. found out and started sections Huawei. I think that is a sense cut the main point.
Yeah.
Do you
that's right.
understand that point?
Yeah, clear. That I just want to add another point here. Let's say once a company is on the entity list of the U.S. government, meaning what that means, because I'm from financial sector, so meaning for any bank who have business in the United States, they cannot provide, let's say, credit facility, meaning provide loan to Huawei if, let's say, Huawei is already on the entity list. Meaning, it's like ironic, like, all the the top 5 biggest banks from China, they have business in U.S., right? So meaning once Huawei is on this entity list, all the Chinese big banks, once they have business in the U.S., they cannot provide the loan to Huawei. So this is very, even for me, I'm surprised that because this U.S. sanction, even the Chinese bank cannot support Chinese company Huawei. It's really ironic.
Yeah, because in that sections, the U.S. The funds extended to entire logistics system. You mean intended to the supply chain. Doesn't matter which parts you're involved, either from the financial part or the supply parts or any other parts, even interacted with a kind of IP parts as well. Anything you're getting involved, this band is not allowed to continue doing business with the sanctioned company.
Right. All right. So this is the sanctions from the U.S. government, and we will see the first direct effect because it looks like Huawei's survival under these sanctions.
Yeah, Maple. Before we jump into that, I do have some question because we talk about the sanction, and it seems the sanction has a very big impact to Huawei. But I have a question because Huawei is the top #1 provider of the devices, right? and they grow very fast from the last 35 years. And Huawei has been bragged all over the world that it has a leading 5G technology. And they have over 3,000 5G patents, and this is also #1 in the world.
Right.
But why? Are you telling me that they are actually using US 5G chips?
Oh yeah, that's a very good question. The direct answer to you is yes. So almost all of the, so far as I know, or according to even the internet, that you can see that most of the equipment, device, mobile handsets, they use, the chipsets from Qualcomm, from TSMC, it's from Taiwan. Actually, it's a technology and manufacturer controlled by the US, right? And even Intel and AMD, they use all of the US companies' chipsets.
Yeah, this is absurd. Yeah, this is really absurd, right? So actually, Huawei is not actually what they look like, right? It's bragging. It's just a bragging. Okay, back to you.
Yeah, technically, strictly speaking, actually, if we define Huawei as an assembler of the telecom industry, I think that will match better for Huawei identity.
I believe this was more accurate. It's more accurate describes Huawei. As we said, as Huawei something is because this sections is not able to work with any companies such as you mentioned, Google or Qualcomm or even Intel's, because or many others together. In case of like a Google, or in this means like a new Huawei smartphones are no longer able to ship with Google's pre-owned applications, or in a sense pre-installed. It's not allowed to do that before, which means without the chips from Qualcomm or Intel, the Huawei's new phones almost not able to complete any function at all. Is that correct?
Right. So that's why that's exactly correct. That's why when we see Huawei from behind, we will find Huawei is a maximum a magician. But looks like Huawei is now survives very well today. But we know that the reality is not. At first, we will see the sanction of May 2019. Immediately after that, the Google Play, all the Google Android system, they use the Google Play, right, to download the app and everything. At that moment, all the Huawei handset cannot update or download the app from this Google Play. And then 1 year later, Huawei sold their Honor handset brand, And this is a very direct effect and impact on Huawei.
Maple, before you jump to that part, I just want to mention, add up one word about what Leo's mentioned about, because this sanction is not only the smartphone business, also including Huawei's network equipment business, right? This is actually the biggest part of the revenue for Huawei. That is a huge impact for the global, growing. Correct?
Yeah, you are talking about the telecom carrier, the network.
Yeah, carrier parts, network equipment sense like that.
Right, right. As we discussed many times ago, that Huawei started from the business with the carriers, right? Supplying the network to all the carriers in China and then out of China. So those business is only for this very dedicated industry, but it's a very good long-term and profitable business because the client is there, and then if you enter with the network equipment, you will stay there like forever if nobody can swap you, right?
Right.
So It's a core business to Huawei. And this sanction on the chipsets, it's a big problem to Huawei. This kind of business also, not only the confidence, because it will be a very practical and the real impact on Huawei equipment. It cannot function well without the chips.
Yeah, that's a little just like people without any hearts. You can't do it.
Right, right.
Let me have a better understanding of basically the question asked by Leo. Basically, Leo mentioned that Huawei have so many IPs in the range of, in the area of 5G, right? But the underlying that I believe that for these IPs, it's most is concerning about, let's say, the standard, right? Standard meaning how you compute, how you communicate, let's say, between the handset and the tower, and the communication tower, or the what you call the tenants, right? So the remitter. But underlying, if this is concerning the 5G chip, actually is kind of a hardware or implementation. To me, my understanding is like a foundation, right? You can build a standard based on foundation, but this foundation is not under the control of Huawei. Basically, Huawei built their IP based on the foundation of these 5G chips. But these 5G chips, they cannot produce or manufacture by themselves. So they are building all their 5G technology on the basis of these 5G chips controlled by the United States companies. So I think this is the basis why the U.S. government basically hit Huawei by these 5G chips. Yeah, yes, you can own the IP on top of this foundation, but if I cut from the foundation level, so all your 5G IP will be in vain. Yes, you own the, let's say, the computing, but all your computing is based on the, let's say, the computer, right? But the computer is not
just
your,
like, Kel, what you mentioned, just like everything you build on the sand castle, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Without the solid foundations, you can disappear soundless in minutes. Correct. And also, so I want to add up one,
exactly
very good point for you, because 5G, there's so many patterns that Huawei's applied. Yeah, Huawei is number one. Gonna apply this and receives their patent for 5G in this industry. However, what is the standard that they set up is not well accepted by Western countries, especially not well received by the United States. And so in 5G, that is not only one part. That is a network. It's a real network. It's IoT, Internet of Things, which means everything get connected together, which means you have very, very fast speed. We have very short response time. For example, if you get a signal from the tower side to your terminals, your time delay instant delay should be very short. So far, Huawei's time delay time just 0.8 seconds. However, United States cannot push this standard to
millisecond or second. Sorry.
No, 0.8 seconds. That is Huawei standard. However, United States push a standard that is a 0.00008 second. You see the big difference? That's why it's so far not.
That's 1,000 times.
1,000 times.
The standard is different as well. Mm-hmm. Even the Huawei's that create so many new concepts, so new ideas to deliver to the globally, and they just want to spread all these words to the third world countries. So far now, the United States and all the Western countries like Ericsson and Nokia, they're not still follow them. However, sometimes they just patterned this. Hey, I have so many creative new ideas in this industry. Maybe you guys need to follow us. But when people still, did some research on it, you can find it's not worth to follow up at this point.
Seems like their patent is more on some ideas, but this kind of idea is just, let's say, a small change, not like Lickman mentioned, the U.S. Standard. Maybe the delay time is only, let's say, one versus 1,000.
Yeah,
the Huawei standard. So this is really ridiculous, right? Huawei is bragging about their achievement, but this achievement is mostly on the, let's say, idea level, or it's not a significant change, but just a small change. Even for a small change, yeah, they can call it, this is our IP, this is our patent. So to add numbers, just to do some small change. But as Lickman mentioned, if you can cut the delay in 1,000 this level, this is really something can be called a leap, a big leap, right? But it seems Huawei never have such kind of leap or leading the industry to this direction, right? He just trying to make a good image for the public, but actually their performance is not good as they what they say.
But actually, I think not all the carriers are dumped, but almost most of the top level carriers are using Huawei equipment, of course, except the U.S. carriers. But I think Huawei the products or network equipment are working good and working well. Otherwise, you think everybody is not as not smart. And now the investors are very smart. So I believe the products are good, but the problem is that the chipset is not controlled by Huawei. So that's a key, the bottleneck for Huawei. But surprisingly, we found that Huawei is not dead after the sanctions. The several punch one by one, but still survive very well, looks like. So we'll see the Huawei financial highlights. You see of 2021. It's like the only effect is that Huawei sold the Honor product, the device, but the others, almost all the other financial data rose and increased, except liability. So it all looks perfect. So from this financial chart sheet, you can see that by year 2019, Huawei achieved the high peak of all the operational status, right? So the revenue achieved in 2019 at 85. It's almost the highest, except this year, right? Except 21, and operating profit, and it's 77 billion yuan. It's like 10 or 12 billion US dollar. So it's very high, and even the cash flow, you see, it's 91 billion yuan. It's like 14 billion US dollar. Cash flow, it's really a lot, right? And almost all the data in 2019 achieved the high spot. But then with 2020 in a little bit going down, but in 2021 we will see. So everything is back to normal and even much better than 2019. you can imagine that like operating profit is like 60% more than achieved 19 billion US dollar operating profit. And the cash flow is not that big. It's like $9 billion US dollar, not as big as 2019, and but the cash and the short-term investment, this is increased, right? From 2019, it's now 65 billion US dollar. So it's like 10 or 15% increase. So all of this really shows the beautiful status and the stance today, right? So how can Huawei make it? It's really out of our logic, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think, well, we all know that Chinese Communist Party's financial statement is not trustworthy, right? And they never show the real numbers, and they can manipulate the numbers whatever they want, right? Just as you show in this chart, it's amazing. Their operating profit almost doubled, right? In 2022 compared with 2020, and their margin increased a lot too, more than double. So this is a really, as I said, logic. And back to the poem they wrote, it seems they were really scared when U.S. started sanction. But why, after sanction, they grow so fast, right? This is a big question mark.
Right.
Yes, actually, when I start reading the numbers, your charts you put here, it's really like Huawei's playing those financial numbers and the marketing numbers. One point you said here, Huawei sold its Honor production line, products line. I would like to point out that this sales is not real sale at all. Just they want to just separate this product lines or this business line from their Huawei company and rename it as an individual company. Why? Because they want to avoid sanctions from the United States. They are still using this method to make mouse the U.S. government. But when they separate this part, their financial numbers are still growing. This makes things tricky. I believe the U.S. government knows the trick inside nowadays. What do you guys think about this point?
Yeah, I remember this. Let's say, if U.S. government is place some sanction on Huawei, right? So, for example, the 5G chip. So they cannot develop this. Let's say, if in their handset of this Honor series, right? If they cannot get the 5G chips for their Honor handset, so they have to kill. Let's say not kill. It's a separate this from under the, let's say, from their name, meaning just like it's still the same person, but just change the clothes, right? Because
exactly what I mentioned. They name it a new company. Hey, just still cheating the U.S. company.
They can easily set up a new company, right? Rename the name is not Huawei anymore, right? But it can still be controlled by Huawei because your sanction list is only a name list. How about I change the name? I set up a new company, change another name, just like a person, right? And then change the clothes. So you are particularly focusing on identify this person by his clothes. But now he changed the clothes, you cannot identify this is the same person. So it's just similar like this. Huawei can set up, let's say, 10 or 100 new companies. The name is not Huawei again. So the sanctions do not apply to these new setup company, but actually it's still controlled by Huawei. So Huawei can still continue their business without, let's say, any material impact by these U.S. sanctions.
Correct. That's why, I saw the words put on your slides. Is Huawei a magician? Yes, it is a magician. Let's put covered up everything and pretend you were not dig up and find out the truth behind. Unfortunately, the sense is different.
Right. So that's why we need to see what is really Huawei? You know, you can always create the magics and survives again and again from the challenges and those sanctions. And how? What is Huawei? Now let's see. The early back to like 2000 or 2002, there's a lawsuit. I think if in the telecom industry, people may remember there's a lawsuit between Huawei and Cisco. Actually, in 2003, Cisco started a lawsuit against Huawei, you know, which you can everybody can search, even Google search from internet. This case, on the PPT, and there's such information, the details of this indictment. So according to the indictment, the Cisco claims that Huawei, there's a much there were much copyright infringement, and Huawei copied a lot of big portions of the Cisco's the user menus and the online help files, you know, for their similar products and the series of products. And also Huawei copied Cisco's command line interface, and Huawei copied Cisco's the iOS code. And then the second big part of the claim from Cisco is the trade secrets of Huawei stole Cisco source code. Wow! From this indictment, you can see Huawei is like stole everything from Cisco at the beginning, at the early stage of Huawei in 2000, 2002, and this is wow! It's so interesting because at that moment we all remember Huawei said, "Oh, Cisco is suing us, doing this and that," but it's not true. And in this industry, we all remember this kind of stories, but all of this text and the words are in the indictment in the Texas of U.S. the court, right? So what do you know? Do you guys know about this case?
Yeah, we still do remember what's happened about 20 years ago. I think at that time, Huawei is proud of the Cisco sue Huawei, because they said, as a big players in the market or a globalist market, which, set up a higher standard. However, at that time, Huawei just a new emerger, If a big companies can sue him, which means, oh, we do have something, stand together, maybe we can compete with you together, which means he did gain the reputation from this lawsuit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe there are a lot more details you can share with us later, next time, if possible.
Yeah. It looks like time is almost up. So maybe we can discuss further the details the second episode, right? The next time. What do you think, Leo?
We still have a little bit of time. We can finish this this PPT. Let's give a little bit more background, and I'd like to hear some comments from Lakeman and the QCCP too, and then after that we can wrap up.
Yeah, for this lawsuit case, I think since you mentioned the time is already 20 years ago, right? But that time, I think our audience, you may keep in your mind that time is just the Chinese Communist Party, the Communist China, just joined the WTO. I think before Communist China joined the WTO, they don't have this concept of copyright, because copyright is very important in the Western countries, right? Because you are protected because you have this innovation or the original idea. So the other followers have to respect your idea and pay you some price if they borrow your idea or use your, let's say, build something based on your ideas, right? So that is the long time the rules of the market. So it's only communist China joined the WTO, they start to let's say follow these rules. Before in China, you know, and maybe this is not, they are not familiar with the Westerners. There is a Chinese word for the made in China is in the Chinese pronunciation is shanzhai. The shanzhai means you pay nothing, simply copy. So this, from the first glance, is yes, for the new player, it's easy for them to start something, right? Because they build all their product or idea based on the idea of others, and they don't pay anything. They just manufacture, produce, right? Copy and paste. Now that's the way the way of communist China, what they're thinking. All this is behind this is the Chinese Communist Party. They don't respect any copyright. So that's if you live in China for long enough time, let's say more than 30 years, you will be fully understand this situation in China. Everything is measured simply by the price, right? They don't care about quality. They only care about price. The cheaper, the better, right? The quality, even let's say you use a new product, but it cannot last longer. But you just buy a new one, right? So you throw the broken one away, as long as the new one is cheaper. So this is the communist China, their way of thinking. So that's if you understand this background of the culture, you will not be surprised by such a lawsuit between Huawei and CISCO.
Exactly, Kyo. You mentioned the key point. You know, for us in China, the people are brainwashed by the CCP, and most of the people, we don't have any sense of the patent and the value of the knowledge, and you know, the people just copy. If they found out, oh, this one can make money, okay, I go there, just copy. They don't feel sorry, they don't feel shame, even they don't have any risk of the legal violation of their knowledge, patent. No, they don't have nothing. They just copy, and actually in China, such copy will not have any loss, right, or challenge or risk. So this is
I fully agree with you guys. Situation. You know all you can remember is all kind of like a luxurious products in China that get all others copied or made in China because they just save the investment or they save the time to do the research, because all the high technology sense they have a basic research time. You know, you have to invest it on the R&D. That's why if you cut off this part, you just productions. For sure, yeah, you know, your manufacture cost is much lower because you're not paying any investment time and the investment cost, right?
Right.
We need to pay a lot of attention. We need to wake up people. Hey, from nowadays, we need to respect the value of the real technology, because those values from R&D, those values from the others' labor, people's labor.
Right. That's in the Western product, like Cisco's product. This part, intelligence cost of all the investment composed of the big part of their cost. So it's if you just copy, and then of course the cost of your product should be much lower than Cisco product. It's right. This is the game, controlled by the CCP.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why when you're talking about this time, that's two other big companies just jumped to my mind. The other ones are Nortel and Motorola. That's the giant, industry giant. They're defeated by Huawei. Maybe we can discuss this in the future about this.
Yeah.
In the same sense, because Huawei just steal, not only the simple company, they steal all things from them, from their production line, from their design. That's why those companies can last longer without any new innovations, valued in the market.
Okay, great, guys. I think we're almost 1 hour. And I want to say that, Huawei is not only a business, it's a tool. It's a tool controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. It's not only making money for them, it's a tool to infiltrate your country, steal your technology, and also spy your people, right? It's a evil tool. So we want to say that we are new Chinese people, and the Chinese Communist Party doesn't represent most of the Chinese people. They only represent maybe 100 mafia families, right? It's their country. So China is fully controlled by them. And our goal is taking down the CCP. Okay, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show today. And please subscribe our channel and share your comments and suggestions. So thank you again, my co-host Maple, QCCP, and Lakeman, and also OBS support from Sister. So our high-tech pilot English version is every Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So enjoy the weekend and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leon and everybody.
神圣的母语放声高喊，我们能以